This video is sponsored by Bumblebee electric vehicle chargers. Think electric, think Bumblebee.
Hello folks, here we are today with the Polestar 2. Look at it. Let's just start by saying that I truly believe that cars have a colour, and I know not everyone will agree, but I think this colour is for this car. It looks astounding in this trim. So this particular car's got plenty of options, including the Plus Pack, the Pilot Pack, the Performance Pack. That gets you a myriad of extras. 20-inch forged alloy wheels, those very trick looking 4-piston Brembo brakes. We've got the heat pump, we've got Harman Kardon sound system, vegan interior, loads of driver assistance systems, wireless phone charging, the list goes on. Basically, if you can get it for a Polestar 2, it's probably on this car. They start at just over 43 grand. This one's closer to 59 grand. And again, this is right up there in terms of performance. 0 to 62 in 4.7 in this bad boy. And this being the long range version, it gives you up to 335 miles of range WLTP. It's got a very simple charging port here, which is illuminated, as you can see, capable of taking your standard CCS charger. Okay folks, so this main cabin, it feels more like a cockpit. This center console sits quite high. You really feel like you're piloting something rather than driving something. The gear selector here is quite a simple affair, very reminiscent of the kind of thing you see in most Volvos. It's great to see physical dial and button for the stereo system, which so many companies now seem to completely ignore, VW Group for example. And even though everything else is touchscreen based, it's very intuitive, and the Google Assistant voice recognition system is brilliant. It just works. Steering wheel is probably my favourite one to date. It's lovely and chunky, brilliant quality material on it. Absolutely love it. Seats are massively comfortable, really good lumbar support. This is some kind of vegan material. I guess it's made out of recycled pea pods and butcher's tears. I don't really know, but it's a sustainable material, which is no bad thing. You've got this lovely sort of ash trim up here and some cloth here, which again is very reminiscent of Volvo. Glove box is a good size, cup holder here and another one under here. Really nice place to be. So you've got the driver's information system here and the infotainment screen here, and both screens are very high resolution and really nice and bright. This driver information system is the best one I've seen on any car to date, full stop. One thing that's not so good in this car is the rear visibility. The back window is tiny. Fortunately, you've got top-down camera and reversing camera, so that's not really an issue. Okay, so the infotainment system's here, and it's fairly intuitive and pretty easy to use in all fairness. You've got your Google Maps, which works brilliantly well. One thing that's fantastic with this as well is the way it integrates your route with charging stations along the way. So just for example here, I've just put in a quick trip to Poole to this auto parts store. It's telling me that when I arrive, I'm going to have 68% of charge. If I'm going to program in a longer journey, it tells me here multiple charges are needed and add a charging stop. And then it gives me the options of where to place those charges, where I'm going to get good fast charge. So we've got Instavolt, Ionity, etc. 29-minute charge, it's telling me I'll need there. So all this is very well integrated, possibly even better than the system in the Tesla, or at least as good. In terms of all your other infotainment functionality, you basically go to this page and you've got access to your radio and your Bluetooth and everything else there. We've also got a game, because it's important to have one of those now in a car, isn't it? So there's a bit of fun thrown in there. You've got a range assistant to help you sort of work out how much power you're currently consuming and likely to be consuming. You've got your Google Assistant, some natty little performance apps, and of course you've got the Google Play Store. So lots and lots that you can get from that. I don't think Netflix is available for this yet, but I know it's on its way if not. Another brilliant feature, particularly for company car drivers or anyone logging business mileage, is it's got a journey log. And you go into each one, you can categorize it as private or business or commute. It shows you where you started, where you ended, how long it took, your distance. So it's great for logging all those business trips. I assume that gets stored straight into your Google account. So yeah, fantastic bit of kit that. If you're on any of these pages and you want to get back to the aircon controls, by the way, you just swipe up from the bottom and they reappear. You've also got voice assistant, of course, and the voice commands are brilliant. You can really easily control the aircon with that. It's just a fantastic system. It's very well designed. It's a huge step up from the old Volvo system. I know we're not in a Volvo, we're in a Polestar, but it is a huge leap forward from that traditional Volvo infotainment system. So the driver's seat is in my usual position, and as you can see, I've got acres of leg room. Not a massive amount of toe room under that seat. That could be a little bit better, but it's really not an issue. This huge panoramic roof really does give you a feeling of space in here, and you certainly feel like you're sitting quite a bit higher up than you do when you're in the front. It's a very nice place to be for a passenger, very nice indeed. Quite simple down here. You've got a USB socket, you've got a couple of air vents, and you've got some seat warmers in this particular model, and these very natty yellow seat belts. And then if you pull down the center armrest, you've got two cup holders there and a little storage cubby in the door. Despite this center seat being a bit higher up than the two outer seats, you've still got plenty of headroom. It is a bit firm on the back and the buttocks, however, so you wouldn't want to sit here for a long journey. Boot storage is 405 litres, and you've also got a handy frunk that gives you an extra 35 litres of space, ideal for keeping those charging cables. So the driving position in this car is absolutely superb. You feel like you're in a cockpit almost. The car seems to sort of wrap around you. The seat is incredibly comfortable and holds you very snugly. The steering wheel's great. Everything about this driving position just works, and you can tell countless hours have gone into the design of it. Now this is the long range dual motor version of this car with all those packs added to it that I mentioned earlier. That means that you not only get those large glorious looking wheels, but you also get a stiffer suspension setup. Now that suspension can be adjusted by you, but it does involve jacking up the car and getting out a set of spanners. The ride can be a tad firm, but considering the size and weight of this car, the way the thing handles is absolutely unbelievable. It's so well balanced. For me, the bit of firmness that does exist in the ride is well worth having, because the trade-off is absolutely superb handling. I'm fairly confident though that a lower spec version of this car that would come with the standard size wheels and normal dampers would probably take quite a lot of that firmness away. Right, there's one thing I'd really dislike in this car, and it's the indicator noise. So we're in an EV, and the sound that they've chosen for the indicator noise is basically an electrical short sound. That seems like an odd choice, and given how much thought has gone into this car, I wonder what the thought process was for that. It's an odd one. Not every material that you come across in the cabin is soft touch, but everything's got an incredible feel of quality to it. And really, in terms of build quality, I don't think I've seen a car with better build quality. I can't imagine ever getting a creak or a rattle or a shake or a whine from any part of this car. The only thing that is sort of creaking around at the moment is the thing that I've got the camera attached to on the passenger window. So in terms of the noise when you're driving, the cabin's very well insulated. You get a little bit of noise from the tyres, you can hear a little bit of action from the electric motors, very little wind noise or anything like that. It's really nice and serene. Something this car does very well, especially when you consider how much power there is on tap, is the ability to just drive around at 20-30 miles an hour really smoothly and easily. That's something where it really trumps the Tesla Model 3. In the Model 3, at times, especially in the higher powered versions, the accelerator can feel a bit like an on-off switch, especially when you're not used to it. In this, you get in and it just feels like a normal car, but when you floor it, it takes off. Speaking of the Model 3, that always comes up in these reviews and when people discuss the Polestar 2, is it better than the Model 3? Is it more this than the Model 3, more that than the Model 3? To me, they're both very different cars. Although they're aiming themselves at roughly the same kind of buyer, they're very, very different cars. The Tesla has a bit more range, the Tesla's got a bit more boot space. The interior on the Tesla is very different to this. This certainly trumps it in terms of build quality. I really think you shouldn't buy one without trying out the other. The Tesla Model 3 delivers plenty of smiles. It's got a bigger boot, a little bit more range. It's got a couple of other things going for it. And while the Polestar 2 competes really well with the Tesla in most of those sort of areas, the other thing it's got going for it is that it feels like you could probably buy one of these in 10 years and it's going to feel exactly the same. It's going to feel exactly as tight. You won't have any annoying squeaks or rattles. You won't have any interior trim that's broken. It feels so well put together. This review, by the way, is sponsored by Bumblebee EV. Bumblebee's a Scottish company. They do EV home charging installations all over the UK. So you can get the Easy One charger, which is the one that they're installing for me at my home, for under £1,000, and that's available on 12 monthly interest-free instalments. If you want to learn more about Bumblebee and my collaboration with them, check out the link in the video description and pinned as the top comment. Okay, I'm just going to let the car stretch its legs a bit here. We're just going to go from 40 to 60 and I'll let you know how long that takes. Okay. There. That was quick. It's very easy to look at 0 to 60 times and 0 to 62 times and 0 to 100 times and think that explains the feeling of speed in a car. It doesn't. You may have experienced quick cars with similar 0 to 60 times with petrol or diesel engines. When you compare that to the feeling in an EV, it's entirely different. As you know, I usually sum these reviews up by telling you how I feel about the car going back at the end of my week with it. And quite frankly, I'm going to hide this one in a neighbour's garage and claim that it's been stolen. If I was still in a corporate job with a company car, I'd be ordering one of these right now. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, as I'm now a penniless YouTuber, I won't be able to get one of these anytime soon unless Polestar decide to give me about a £55,000 discount on it. And do you know what? I'd have it in this colour. I'd have it with this exact spec. It's just epic. I want one. Folks, this is not a perfect car. The perfect car doesn't exist. It's not even a perfect EV, but it's a bloody good one. It really is a fantastic car to drive. It really rivals absolutely anything in this class in the market. To me, Polestar is one of the most interesting car brands around at the moment. And as a statement of intent, this thing is pretty damn serious. I don't think I've ever seen build quality as good in a car as it is in this particular one. And this gets my absolute gold star seal of approval. It's a stunning car. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. Please give the video a thumbs up and please subscribe and click that notification bell if you haven't already done so. See you next time.